Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. This is Bryan here, and you're all very welcome. Sorry, that's the wrong slide. You're all extremely welcome to Lesson 3, Building with Bootstrap. So, save, and there we go. So, sorry about that. I'm reusing my slides from the last campaign. So, there we go. And perfect from the last lesson, I should say. So, there we go. So, you're all extremely welcome. You're all extremely welcome to the practical session of Lesson 3, where we're going to get started with Bootstrap. Yeah, so the Bootstrap is a mobile-first framework. It's a mobile-first framework, and we can use it to, and really what we want it for is the main component of Bootstrap that we love is its grid system. So I'm going to tell you all about Bootstrap, its various parts, and then we're going to bust right into our code editor, into our Atom code editor to build a project. So I don't have my can you hear me slide, so I'm just going to stay here for a second. So can you hear me? Can everyone hear me out there? How's everyone doing? So perfect. So hi there Virginia, hi there England, hi there Cape Town. Hi there, South Africa. Hi there, Gordon. Perfect. Hi there, Sapsborg. Excellent. Very good. Well, it seems that I'm coming out loud and clear. What I'll do then is I'll quickly go through the slides so we can get coding as quickly as possible. And hi there, New Zealand there as well. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be all about Bootstrap. And why is my computer completely frozen? There we go. Perfect. So this is all about Bootstrap. It's the most popular HTML, CSS, and JavaScript framework for developing responsive mobile-first projects on the web. Now, I should note it's Bootstrap version 3 we're working with. So we're working with the latest version of Bootstrap, which is their mobile-first version of the framework. All right. So why would we use Bootstrap? Well, first of all, just rearrange this. Well, first of all, it is a responsive mobile-first approach framework, so that's straight away. That's perfect for us. It has excellent browser support, and I mean excellent browser support across Chrome, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Opera, and Safari. It has very good documentation, which you might have seen in the introduction class when we were touching on Bootstrap. It's very easy to customize because it's all CSS really, and it's completely open source, so you can take it and you can do whatever you want with it, and there's nothing wrong with you using it in your client's projects. Because it's open source, you're free to use it and free to sell it on. So, what is included in Bootstrap? Well, first of all, and first and foremost, it comes with some scaffolding, which means that it's going to come with a grid system, it's going to come with basic styling, and it's going to come with better coloring. Yeah, so if you remember me adding the Bootstrap system to just a basic page in the introduction course, we saw how it marked up our page straight away. It gave us better typography, and the colors became less, there wasn't so much of a contrast. They got rid of, it wasn't just absolute black on absolute white, it was a little off-white and a little bit grayer than black. And then you also get some basic styling there as well. It removes the browser styling. So it takes away the default margin and padding and resets all that to 0. So you don't have to worry about, oh, what is Chrome going to deliver versus Safari? Is that going to, that extra pixel, is it going to knock my row down to the next line? Not when you're using Bootstrap. Alright, Bootstrap will also contain some components, and components are its navigation, its icons, its drop-downs, its alerts. It's got so many components that we can go in and take a look at. So the navigation is extremely handy. Because it provides us with some standard navigation bars. Yeah, so remember, a navigation bar is just really a bunch of links styled to look like a navigation bar, because that's all it is, just a whole bunch of anchor links, and then we just style it up to make it into a navigation bar. Well, Bootstrap comes with that included, and we can edit that to our heart's content, and it also is ready with mobile as well, once we include a bit of jQuery. It comes with icons, so those icons are SVG icons, so scalable vector graphics, so they're pixel perfect on no matter what size they are. We come with drop-down menus as well, so drop-down menus can be quite difficult to implement by yourself when you're just using JavaScript, but they come standard with the Bootstrap, especially when you go onto the mobile. And it comes with alert boxes as well, and nice alert boxes. Yeah, so you can get nice alert boxes coming up on the screen, which you should rarely use. So unless you're building an actual application, if you're building a website, an alert box is typically discouraged when you're a web designer, simply because people do not like them. And like the minute an alert box comes up, your instinct is usually to quickly close it down before something else happens. Yeah, because we're all too used to having internet adverts pop in And you know, the minute you see an advert pop up, you want to close it before it loads one of those special JavaScript functions that doesn't let you close the window until you click in someplace else. So alerts tend to be kind of stay away from them unless you're building really a web application that does need them, unless the user is really expecting to get an alert. It also comes with JavaScript plugins, and we'll be looking at those, later on. And you can also customize it as well, so you can fully customize Bootstrap to make it completely your own. And that goes right down to customizing the Bootstrap framework. So not just adding in your own CSS, but because it's all open source, you can actually take the Bootstrap framework and you can improve on it if you like. All right, so the grid. All right, so the grid. The grid of Bootstrap. So Bootstrap includes a responsive mobile-first fluid grid system. Now, this grid is made up of 12 columns that scale up as the viewport size changes. Now, notice I've got up written in bold there. If this was HTML, I'd probably mark it in strong because that is a key part of the latest version of Bootstrap. It used to be it has 12 columns that scale down as the viewport size changes, but we're in mobile first. We're in the mobile first territory here, so we're always talking about scaling up. We're always thinking about the mobile first, and then what happens when it scales up to desktop. Oh, sorry, and it actually says that there, so it scales up because of mobile first. The grid and components expand on larger screens. So we always design for smaller screens first with Bootstrap. That's just the best way to use the framework, is to design for smaller screens first. So this is basically how the grid is laid out. So you got 12 columns. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they span the full width of the page. Or else they span with inside the container. It will make more sense when we actually start seeing it. And you can see these are the default media queries that Bootstrap is using. Yeah, so Bootstrap has basically just provided you with all the media queries that you don't have to type. Yeah, so they've already figured out smartphones, tablets, portrait tablets, default and large display. Now, really, when we look at these, you'll see it's large display, default, portrait tablets. Really, the grid is really made up of small screens, extra small screens, medium screens, large screens, and extra large screens. And that is the way we think of web design in 2016. We think about it in general screen sizes rather than specific devices, such as the iPhone, such as the Android, such as a Galaxy. We forget about the actual make of the device and we focus on how our designs look on any given screen size. So, some very important notes about Bootstrap before we begin. The rows must be placed inside a container class for proper alignment and padding. So because Bootstrap has already provided you with all the CSS, well, they've added in fixes. So to make sure that it's cross-browser compliant and to remove all the browser default styling and make sure that it does look pixel perfect across all devices, you have to make sure that you wrap, anytime you want to use the grid system, it has to be wrapped in a giant container. You can use rows to create horizontal groups of columns, and predefined classes like .row and .col XS4 are available for quickly making grid layouts. So I'll show you quick examples of the basic syntax of a grid structure. Yeah, so we can start with a div. We give that the class of container or container fluid. We'll be able to see the difference of those later. And then we can define a row. So we can then define one row, and then we can define the divs inside there and give those classes, and then we have these predefined classes that allow us to populate that grid system. So there is an example of how we can populate that there. So we can add multiple classes as well to any div. So say this one here. So we've got a div, we've got a class, and this one here, because it's 12 because of it's a 12 column grid system, this is saying here, so it's going to have on a small device, it's going to take up the full width of the container, 12 columns. On a medium device, this div is going to take up half of the container, 6 columns. On a large screen, it's going to take up a third of the. It's going to take up 3 columns on a large screen, a quarter of the container on a large screen. Yep. And then we can see it down here, and then you could have another one, call MD3, take up 3 columns on a medium screen, call LG3, take up 3 columns on a large screen. Alright, so that's all for the presentation. Let's actually go in and take a look at the Bootstrap webpage. So, get boot. So someone had already purchased Bootstrap.com when Twitter came out with their framework. So they didn't get it and they had no interest in buying it. In fact, you can actually check it out there, Bootstrap.com. So you'll go to Bootstrap.com and you'll see that there is this thing here, coming soon. It's been coming soon since about 2008, I think, is the first time I saw this. Sorry, 2010. 2010 is probably the first time I saw this website, and it's still coming soon, so there's nothing there. So you need to get Bootstrap.com. Get Bootstrap.com. And actually, just to make sure, what I'll do is I'll go into Facebook and have this loaded up. There we go. Very quickly, guys. Sorry, just bear with me. How'd you guys get on with the with the mobile first with the mobile first Phoenix photography project? Did it work for you guys? Did you manage to save a few lines of CSS? Not really? Not tried it yet. That's no worries. That's no worries. It really comes to shine when you have a larger project. So when you can try and save, when you try to see like how big a large scale project can have, when you know, when you're going into, you know, 600, 800 lines of CSS at a minimum, and when you're saving one line for every 12 lines that go in there, well, then you start to save a lot of code. But no worries, no worries. You'll be, I'll give you a solution next class, if that's alright. I'll give you an actual solution next class. I'll show you my solution to the mobile first Phoenix photography project. Perfect. So here's getbootstrap.com. Let me copy this, place this in here into a post. Whoops. There we go. All right, that's Get Bootstrap. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go straight into download Bootstrap. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to download the Bootstrap files, all right? So we're going to download the Bootstrap files and we're going to start building it from scratch. So there's my Bootstrap files. Let me just show this in folder. And let me extract this, extract all. No worries at all, Willem, no worries at all. We're just getting started with Bootstrap. And let me just save this to my desktop. Yeah, that'll be fine, just extract all that. And let's take a look. You shouldn't download, you don't update your Bootstrap. Alright, so you don't really update your Bootstrap. So you download a version of Bootstrap and you build with that. You'd rarely update it simply because, simply because it's already there. You know, you've already built with that one particular framework. I'd have to look into it more. I've never personally updated Bootstrap simply because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. It's got so much code in there that you really don't know how much of it has actually changed and what it's going to do to your designs. But once you build perfectly with Bootstrap, there's no real need to update it because you're already doing to a mobile first. And the next time you'd update is when you're building your latest new project to the latest modern design standards. Alright, so let me just put this over here. Alright, so let me just quickly bring you through. So really, Bootstrap can be narrowed down to these three core files. You got the CSS, yes, so you can see there's loads of CSS in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my UWDP. I'm going to create a new folder inside here. It's going to be my new development folder, and we'll call this first Bootstrap. S-T-R-A-P. First Bootstrap. So I'll stick that in there. Now, I'll just grab a few of these. Actually, to make it much easier, what I'll do is I'll grab all these files. Perfect. And then I can just delete them. Alright, so I only need one of these CSS. I only need one. And what I want is I want the Bootstrap. I don't want the theme. So the theme comes with a different styling. You can download different themes for Bootstrap and stuff like that. I don't need a theme. What I really need is I just need the CSS. Now, I don't want the... now you can see you save about 30 KB. You save about 30 KB with the minified version, and because I won't actually be going into the Bootstrap CSS to edit it, I'll have my own CSS on top of it, and I'll be using the cascading order to make sure that my styles are applied over the Bootstrap framework. So all I need is the bootstrap.min.css. I can delete everything else. And in the fonts, I just want the glyph icons. So I'll leave all those there for now. I will leave all the glyph icons there for now. And in the JavaScript, I will just need the bootstrap.min Js as well. Right. So Bootstrap comes with lots of files because you can use it for developing web apps, because you can use it for so much. There's so much to it. Like there's grunt files, there's what else is there? There's Sass, there's Less, there's Bower, there's NPM, there's all that kind of stuff. You can Google that in your own time, but for the next 45 minutes, because we do want to get our project up and running in the next 45 minutes, we'll deal with the core components of it first of all. Alright, so there we go. So we got our CSS, our fonts, and a JavaScript. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new document. So just a plain text document, and I will call this index.html. index.html. Yes, I want to change that. Perfect. So there's my first Bootstrap. So now let's go into Atom. ATOM. And here is Atom. Perfect. Just let that load up. I would like to help you, but I'm not going to. Alright, so File. Open. I'm going to open my project folder. And what I want is I want to go to my desktop and I want to find my, where are you, my UWDP, and I want to open up my first Bootstrap. There we go. Select folder. And there we go. So there's my Bootstrap files. Alright, so let's start marking up our index.html. So of course we're writing in HTML version 5, so I'm going to have to include that. I'm going to have to include that doc type there. So let's see, doctype. Doc type is going to be HTML. There we go. Nice and simple for HTML5. I want to declare the HTML tags, HTML, and I'll give it a language is equal to EN for English. There we go. Oh, perfect. I'm self-closing. Perfect. All right. Next one down is going to be my head. H-E-A-D. And inside the head, I need to put some meta information. So META-CHARSET is equal to UTF-8. That'll be perfect. All right. Next one down, I also want, what else do I want in here? I was going to add the Viewport Meta Tag as well. So METANAME. Name is going to be Viewport. VIEWPORT. The content is going to have. So I'm going to set the width. WIDTH. The width is equal to device width. DEVICE. WIDTH. So guys, sorry, I don't think I might have actually got into this. I know that I've answered a few questions on social media about the Viewport, INITIAL. So I'll just finish off this and then I'll explain what it is. SCALE is equal to 1. All right. So what this Viewport thing is doing is, because of the vast majority of sites out there that are fixed, that are still designed to fixed layouts. Like, take a look around. It's absolutely ridiculous how many sites out there are still static fixed websites that are not responsive, so they don't fit on mobile screens. So because of that, it's far better for mobile operators, for mobile devices, to actually try and display the full web page. Yeah, so they try to display the full web page on the phone by default. So if it's not responsive, it will just force itself to fit the screen, and then you have to zoom in, but that's much better than having to zoom out and scroll around the page and can't really figure out what's going on. So this is the responsive, so this is what we do, especially to make sure our media queries work. So basically what we're saying is, well, it's the meta, and the name of this meta tag is the viewport, and what we're saying is that we want to set the width to the device width. So we're telling the device that we are developing developing responsively, so you can take your width, you can take your starting width as your device width. So whatever width the device is, that's the width. At the initial scale 1 means that we take that width and there is no zoom in. So if I had initial scale of 1 means that we're not going to zoom in at all. So it means that the way we write our site is perfect for it. The device doesn't have to add in any fixes for us. Next one down is we're going to add a title, T-I-T-L-E, and we'll call this my first Bootstrap. S-T-R-A-P. Perfect. All right, and now let's just link our Bootstrap CSS. LINK href is equal to And am I able to do this? I don't know. I don't know. Am I able to do this? No, I'm not. Ah, well. So let me see. Where do I want to go? I want to go to my CSS folder. Inside my CSS folder, there will be bootstrap .min.css. Perfect. And that's the type is it's a relationship is a style sheet. STYLE SHEET. All right. All right. All right. Now. There's something else that we want, guys. There is something else that we want, and I'm going to see if I can find this here. If IE9. See, because IE9 doesn't really handle HTML5, so if IE9, there we go. I'll grab this. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Where can I grab this? That will be perfect. So I need a little kind of if statement, yeah? Oh yeah, so we're going to keep the Bootstrap Min. The Bootstrap Min because... So let me just paste that in there. I'll explain that now in a second. So because we are not actually going to go in and edit the Bootstrap files, because Bootstrap is open source, there's nothing wrong with you opening up the Bootstrap files. In fact, you know, it's just easier to show you. It's just far easier to show you in most cases. First Bootstrap, CSS, Bootstrap Min. See that? No spaces. Yeah, you see, it's impossible to edit this because it's been minified. They took away all the excessive white space. So the Bootstrap, if you open up your bootstrap.css file, you'll see that it's actually very easy to edit. You'll see that all of these are all laid out properly, all the white space is there, and it's laid out as someone would normally write it. So what we're doing is we're including bootstrap.min.css because that saves us 30 KB. Not much, but enough that if you're up against another site that isn't using the minified version, yours will load up just that split second faster. Maybe not noticeable to your user, but it will certainly be noticeable. To your to the likes of Google and stuff like that on their when they check how quickly your page can load. So what's happening here, guys? What's happening here is that these are fixes for IE9. Yeah, so these are fixes for IE9. I'm not actually too sure. Let me just see what. So this one here is going to add a JavaScript. Is going to add a JavaScript library that's going to try to allow Internet Explorer 9 incorporate our tags. Yeah, so if we were using stuff like section and article, they're not supported in Internet Explorer 9. That's a JavaScript library there to make sure that IE9 can at least read them and then display them properly. You just don't get all the you just don't get all the what you call it. You just don't get all the semantic benefits of it. But hey, they're using IE9. They don't deserve the semantic benefits. So. Where did I get that? I got to stick it up there. You just find these on the internet. If you type in IE9 fix, IE9 HTML5 fix, you'll find loads of these things here. There's stuff like Modernizer that we'll be taking a look at in one of the later lessons as well. That can allow us to use border radius and stuff like that in older browsers. They kind of add in all the fixes. All right. So let me just. Sorry, I'm just going to. Also, I'm just populating my my Facebook post here with all these little things. So that's that. There's your IE9 fix for you guys. All right, and 2 spaces. Perfect. All right, so there we go. So there's our head, and that's all really we need so far. We'll add in our own CSS now in a second. Oh, it's all been put into it's all been put into our what you call it, into our Great Students thing. I haven't published the post yet, just in case there's a few more links to go in. I'm just kind of having an open post so I can copy and paste as we move along, so I don't forget about anything later. All right. There we go. So now let's start with a heading 1. So hello, HELLO, world. Oh, if you want to track along, well, what I'll do is I'll send that post out right now. So that's going to get a little bit messy in there. I might delete that post afterwards just to tidy it up. But just so you can have what I have right now, I'll give it to you. So just 2 seconds there. 2 seconds. Oh, chat. I've got my chat function here. Can you all see that? There's your if statement for your IE. Yeah? Can you all see that? You all good? Perfect. Is it copy and pasteable? Perfect. All right. So I forget sometimes people could be working along. Excellent. All right, so we have that. Now, there's 2 more things we have to add. Well, first of all, I can't forget my body. BODY, just adding a heading 1 just out of the blue. BODY, so I have my body there, and I'll stick my heading 1 inside there. Have I got my click and drag? I don't have that function enabled yet. So I still have to tidy up my Atom code editor. There's still a few more plugins that I want. Perfect. So there's our hello world as well. Oh, that's great. There's a Bootstrap Snippet plugin for Atom that will put all that according to Sean out there. Sean, if you'd like to place that in Bryan's design resources, I'm sure everyone would really appreciate it, including myself, to see where that snippet to get that plugin. That would be fantastic. Thank you. All right, so there's two more things we have to add. There are two more things we have to add. We have to add our JavaScript. Yep. So we have to add our JavaScript. So first of all, script script src. The source of the script is going to be the JS folder, and then inside the JS folder, what is it called? It is called bootstrap.min.js. Perfect. bootstrap.min.js, and that's fine. Script. Perfect. All right, now there is one more thing. There's one more thing that I need. Bootstrap, that's the Bootstrap JavaScript, but it's written using Jquery, so we need to include Jquery as well. So just before we go any further, because there's no point including that, it's absolutely useless unless we've already included Jquery. So let us find Jquery. Jquery. QUERY.com. Will that get me there? Yes, it will. Perfect. So let's quickly get in here and let's just download Jquery, and let's just find their nice little linking here. It's here someplace. Where is your CDN? We'll take the Google CDN. And there we go. So we'll take Jquery 3. Perfect. I'm not using the header tag yet. I'm really just making up a page to explain the responsive grid of Bootstrap to start with, and just to explain a few components. So there we have it. So we have our script. Now notice that I've included my script above my Bootstrap script, because what would happen if I had this one first? Yeah, if I had this script like so. If it was written like so, what would happen is the browser would read the Bootstrap script. It would go, I don't understand this, and then go, it's useless. It doesn't make sense. It's broken. Throw it away. Won't use it. And then it will go down and go, Jquery, fantastic. But the browser doesn't have any memory to go back over what it just read. So what it has to go, the way it has to read it, is it first has to go, Jquery, perfect. And then it just learns Jquery. Then now it has the library to go into. And now the Bootstrap JavaScript will make sense, because then it will look at the Bootstrap and go, perfect. I know what this is because I've got a library resource here. Yeah, so that's the way it has to go. Now there is one more thing I have to add. I want to add my own style sheet. So let me just create a new file here. I will call this mystyles, styles.css. And just like here, where we want, well, actually not just like here, but we want to use the cascading order here. We want to use the cascading order to make sure that our styles can easily overwrite Bootstrap. So Bootstrap is going to target the anchor tags, for example, and remove that underline that has there by default that you have an anchor tag. If I want to do anything else to that, I want to make sure that I don't have to use specificity all too much. I want to, if Bootstrap targets the anchor tags just by saying A, and then giving it styles, well, I want to be able to overwrite that just by calling A. And I can use the cascading order to do that by linking my CSS right after the Bootstrap one. So href is equal to CSS /my styles.css, and its relationship is a style sheet as well, stylesheet. Perfect. There we have it. So we have got a basic Bootstrap site. So let's save this and let us open this up. Hello. Sorry guys, I was just sorry, I'm just testing my microphone here. I've been a bit paranoid ever since I lost the audio in that last recording. I've been very paranoid because I don't want to have to go through, have to run through the lesson before I go home again. So very good. Okay, so there we go. Yes, I was going to open this up. Can I open this up from here? I don't want to beautify it, but can I, well, let me search a directory. There we go. Oh, I don't want to do that. I want to show file. Can I show and explore? That's exactly what I want. Nice quick shortcut, and there we go. So that's what we have so far. That's what we have so far, and we can already see that that's actually a far cry, because all we've really done in our HTML, we just added a heading 1 tag. And we've already seen that that's pretty much a far cry from our natural HTML. You can see it's right up against the left, so it's removed the padding there. You can see that the typography has changed; it's become a serif font. Might be able to see that the colors have changed as well. Yeah, that the color isn't as contrasty. All right, so that's that. Okay, so let's add some other stuff here as well. So, sorry, excuse me. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a nav bar. Yeah, so let's add a nav bar to start off. So, we want a nav bar. Actually, you know what I'll do? You know what I'll do to save some time, because we're already at half past. And this is what you actually do anyway. Bootstrap. Get bootstrap.com. And where am I going? Components. Navs. There we go. So as you can see, very concrete documentation. It's got all the HTML here, and now it's pretty complete, all the HTML. So really, what you're doing, which is great, because you're more often than not, when you go into the components of Bootstrap, you're copying and pasting things, and then you're deleting big chunks of it, which is much better than copying and pasting things and then trying to add stuff in on top of their code. You're kind of copying and pasting things and then removing stuff. So if I go down to their nav bar here, and make sure, guys, because we haven't, make sure that when you're going over these for the first time, do give these a read, because there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff here that you will need to know, especially whenever you're going to use one of these components. But it will work if you just copy and paste, but especially when you're moving into larger scale projects, make sure you are reading the instruction manuals. So let's just grab this one here, the full complete one. So this one here has got a brand, it's got 2 links, it's got a drop down, it's got a search box, a submit button, another link, and another drop down. So I'll take that full menu bar there, and then we'll start getting rid of the stuff we don't need. Paste. There we go. Alright, so what don't I need from here? What don't I need? Well, first of all, a lot of code here. Can I hide this somehow? Escape. There we go. Alright, so nav class, nav bar default, that's fine. The div class is container fluid. Notice that they vote that the nav bar actually comes with its own container fluid. Perfect. Brand and toggle get grouped together for better mobile display. Yep, that's absolutely fine. Let's see. So I've got my nav bar header. Perfect. The button, that's fine. That's good. So this is going to appear on the mobile. Yep. So this is what's going to happen on the mobile. Let me just change my brand. So this is first Bootstrap. This is my brand, S-T-R-A-P. That's the name of my website, First Bootstrap. And now let's see, what don't I need? What don't I need? So that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Well, I don't need my drop down to start with, so let me get rid of all this. Sorry, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have the one open beside me, just so I'm not deleting too much. Where's my components? Let's go all the way back to my first Bootstrap. Save. Stick you over here. Come here, Bess. Almost there. There we go. All right, refresh. There we go. So here's my menu bar. As you can see, first Bootstrap, link, drop down, everything there. All that kind of stuff there. So that's all perfect for us. So we can start getting rid of some of that stuff. So I don't need my drop down. So let me grab that there. Li class. Drop down goes all the way to there. Perfect. Save. Let's see if I got rid of my drop down. There we go. Drop down's down. I'm not going to have a search bar on this. because I'll need some PHP for that, so let's get rid of that as well. So Navbar form, so I don't need my form. Get rid of that. There we go. And anything else that I want to get rid of, and I'll leave those links in there for now. Let's see, link, and I'll get rid of that other drop down. In fact, I'll get rid of most of this. Navbar right, that's fine. Expand this out, get rid of view. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to see what I'm doing here. Screen reader only, current li span, that's fine. Get rid of view, I don't need that link either, just make sure. Don't want you. Still have my brand, and let's and that's my nav bar right. That is exactly what I want. So this first link can be home, and this drop down can be our services. There we go, home, our services, and then we'll just give these some simple names here. So web design, web development, DEVLOPMENT, that's perfect. Graphic design, graphic. We just need one more thing that we can add in. Yes, we would actually normally just wrap the well, the brand name is also the home. The brand name is also the home, but that's just a standard default that when you click on the logo. Normally I fill a logo in there. I just don't have a logo to hand. I'm going to get rid of that hello world, so we're going to have this across the top as well. But I just need one more link here, and in fact I'll get rid of my separator class. I don't need that extra link. Perfect, and then I will add one more list item underneath there. List item drop down, list item, there it is, and then we'll stick this one in here, and this will be contact us. Perfect. Let's see how we're looking. There we go. So we've got my logo. Let's get rid of that hello world, not needed there anymore. Save and refresh. So I got first Bootstrap, home, our services, contact us, and yes, you're right, I should have added mobile app development there, but of course these are your services, so whatever you want to add is fine. So there we go, so we got a simple nav bar. Yeah, and this is already looking much better than what we and this, even though that was a little bit awkward trying to delete all that code, it still took less than 10 minutes. Try to write all that from scratch. So we're already got this mobile nav bar. See this? Look at this. Perfect. Works on a mobile. Perfect. So much easier straight away. So this will really supercharge your designs. So if you're starting from scratch, Bootstrap is quite highly recommended. The reason why I like to start from just plain HTML is because it's absolutely useless to you if all you can do is copy and paste and delete. You also need to have a little bit of creativity on your side. So that's why we do start with the plain old vanilla HTML CSS, so that you'll be able to add some more stuff later. All right. So that's that. What else can we add? All right. Let us add some other stuff then. Jumbotron Div class. All right, so it comes with various components as well that you can find in their documentation. I'll just keep that open just so we can keep an eye on it. Components. It's my Jumbotron Jumbo. There we go. So we're going to add one of these here. Yep. So nice and simple. So div class is going to be Jumbotron, Jumbotron. And then inside here we can stick our hello everyone. So h1. Hello everyone. This is my port. This is my DES designer. Folio. Portfolio. Have fun. Exclamation mark. Perfect. And I believe that my paragraph self-closed. Yes, it did. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, there's some more components that we can have as well. There's more components. How about buttons? Let's see how Bootstrap takes buttons for us. So, B-U-T-T-O-N. There we go. So there's some buttons there. Where's my other buttons? Gonna have to open this up like this. Badges, buttons. Oh, button groups. Don't particularly want button groups. I want the actual buttons. Could be under CSS. I knew about Jumbotron because I've gone through this documentation. So that's how I know about Jumbotron. You see, it's got a nice little Nav Bar here. So something tickles my fancy, like how does it handle tables? Beautifully. Yeah, so if you're pulling in data from a database, if you're doing any of Julian's or Ty's courses, constantly including Bootstrap because you get this beautiful table output for all your data, yeah? So this is what you do, you just go in here and you figure out, so you don't have to go in and read it from top to bottom, you start learning as you need it, yeah? So Bootstrap, it's going to have button styles, it's going to have form styles, and it's going to have a whole bunch of stuff in components. Components is more for fun. So you can take a poke around the components to see what else you can add, but the CSS code, so if you're adding a table, it's going to have styles for tables. It's going to have, if you're adding a button, it's going to have styles for buttons. And we've got all different types of buttons that we can add, and it's already there. Well, it's just a component, like it's just a feature that you'd read, yeah? So it's a feature. So when would you use a glyph icon? Well, when you need a glyph icon. When would you use the Jumbotron? When you hear me talk about Jumbotron and then you want to add it. So let's just add a quick button as well. What we'll do is we'll just actually take the standard button, which is, actually no, we'll take the primary button there. Come here. So there we have that. Now we've got a button there as well. Button primary. So you can see there I've added a button. The type is a button. It's got a class of button primary. And it's a primary button. There we go. And let's see, contact. Add another button. D-A-N-G-E-R. That should be fine. And what other buttons can we have? And we'll also take an info button as well. Hire us. Contact us. Hire us. Work with us. Perfect. There we go. So let's see how we're looking now. My first Bootstrap. Refresh. So there we go. So you can see the idea of a Jumbotron. It's kind of like this big full width kind of span element that we got up here. It's just like and you can see that the heading 1 is appearing huge inside it. It's just got its own styling just to make things appear just a little bit nicer. Yeah. All right. So now let's just add some main body to this as well. We'll just add a bit of main body, and then we should be good. So we want to add. Have I already added my, I don't think I have. Let me just quickly check. Container. My container finishes there. So I better add my other container. So div class equals container. Container. Bootstrap works with anything really. Bootstrap works with anything because it's just CSS and JavaScript works with everything. Yeah, so if you've got anything that's working with with HTML and CSS and JavaScript, well then Bootstrap is just part of it. It's just basically just providing you with predefined styling. So any of those questions is, can you do this? Can you do that? Yep. If you could do it with HTML and CSS, just think about it this way, guys. Just think about it this way. Let me just take this out for a second. This is what I've written in HTML. All right, so this is what I've written in HTML. As you can see, I've got I've got a button to toggle the navigation. I've got links, a bunch of anchor links that are nested inside li, and then I've got a heading 1, and then I've got a paragraph, and then I've got a few buttons down here, yeah? So that's how the browser spits that out at me, just like that. So what would I do if I was doing this from scratch? Well, then I target this and hide it, yeah? So I'd hide this unless they're watching it on a mobile. I'd then style up these buttons. I'd then have a big hero kind of image here, where I'd make that heading 1 extra big because it's going to be inside this header image. Then I'd style up this. I'd start removing all the font styles. I'd start doing all the buttons. That's where I'd have to do, yeah, if I was a web designer. All Bootstrap is doing is it's just powering on ahead with that, so I can get around to the more important things. So I don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so that's the whole point of Bootstrap, that it gives you a better place to start from. So there we go. Yeah, so now we've got a much better place to start from. In fact, very good, Heinrich. If Warren Buffett added Bootstrap to his site would just instantly improve. Yeah. So there we go. So the only point of Bootstrap is because if you imagine, you see all these classes and stuff here, this is what you'd be doing yourself. If you wanted this as a drop-down, you'd have to target the UL and you'd give it a class and you can call it whatever you want. You call it, you know, my drop-down function, and then you'd open up your JavaScript and then you'd write your JavaScript drop-down function, but Bootstrap has it all included. So if you are creating a theme for like Joomla or WordPress or anything like that, if you're doing anything like that, well, it's just a theme is just HTML and CSS and PHP to inject it. So if it's HTML and CSS, you can use Bootstrap, and that's just the way it is. And there's loads of these. There's Foundation, there's Skeleton, there's loads of these kind of things. But Bootstrap is the most popular. So there we go. So I've got my grid. What else do I want to do? So I want to add some divs here. So div class is going to be a row. And then inside that, I'm going to have another div that's going to have some content in. So div class is equal to, now what do I want this? I want this to appear half the screen on a medium screen. So half of the medium screen. So COL MD6. Div class up. Div class equals col MD6. There we go. So that's the two of those. And now let's just add some stuff in here as well. So what can we add? Well, how about we add, let's see, what can we add inside here? Well, let's just add some lorem ipsum just to have some filler text, and then let's add some of those glyph icons I was talking about, those SVGs. So LORIM, lorem ipsum, IPSUM. In fact, you know what? Just give me 2 seconds. I'm actually going to just take something off one of my sites just so it looks a little bit nicer. It's just 2 seconds, just take some of my own words. There we go. So, there we go. I'll take my e-commerce blurb. Alright, so that's my e-commerce one, and the one before that is going to be responsive. There we go. So let's make this, let's wrap this up in p tags. Come here. That's one p tag. That's going to be another p tag. Perfect. Let's tie this up a tiny bit. There we go. Let's just quickly pop back in to see how we're looking. I'll just add a few more P's here. So P. There we go. All right, all right, all right. So let's save that, see how we're looking. There we go. So we got 2 blocks of text. Let's see what happens when we start resizing. And there we go. And they all fall down beneath them. So you can see that up to a medium screen. So there's about a medium screen there. So there's the minimum of my medium screen. And then when I get down, it just falls down like that. They both fall down on top of each other. Yeah? So that's the way that works. There is a way to wrap the text in Atom. I'll turn that on for you. View, toggle soft wrap. There we go. All right, there you go. All right, so soft wrap is toggled. So there we go. I've got the 2 of those now. Let's start adding some. Glyph icons as well. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go back to my Bootstrap documentation. Go up at the top. Go to components because it's a nice component for Bootstrap. And we got all of these glyph icons here. So what did I have there? I had an e-commerce store, and what are the 2 services I pasted in there? Launch your new website, so web design and e-commerce. So let's find one for web design first of all. So let's just take a quick look here. We just scan through, so none of these yet. Let's see, what can we use? What can we use? That one there. That could be good for web design. I know that they should have a better one though. Glyph Icon phone. Nope, nope, nope. Don't want any of these. Actually, you know what? The phone. All right. So just because we will run out of time, otherwise I'm going to take that phone that I saw. Glyph Icon phone is perfect for me. All right. So the way we add a glyph icon, is what we do is this. So it's an inline element. So what I can do. So I should really give these some titles first of all, shouldn't I? So let's just make this heading 3. This is my web design, SERVICES, heading 3, ECOMERS, e-commerce services, and right under, and shall we put the, and we'll put the icons above them. So, let us add the web design service is going to have the mobile icon. So what we need is well, we can actually take it right from down here. There we go. That's the code you need to add your glyph icon. Yeah, that's the code you need to add your glyph icon. It's going to replace it in a span element, so an inline span. Now you can't put anything inside here, guys. You can't put anything. So if you want this icon to say, if I wanted that icon to appear right beside my web design services, I'd have to put that afterwards, and then I have to make sure that that my web design services falls in line with that. If I put web design services inside here, it just doesn't work. So there we go. So glyph icon search, no, glyph icon phone, PHONE. And then I can actually just take that code and I can paste that down here. So e-commerce services, there we go. Glyph icon search, glyph icon, and then we just need one for the e-commerce. So let's just find something like a cart or something. There's loads of them here. So let's see, cart, glyph icon. In fact, if I actually search for cart, C-A-R-T, there we go, shopping cart. There we go. So save. Now let's take a look, see how we're getting on. There we go. So we got an icon there. We got an icon there. Still very, very small at the time being. Still very, very small. So let's try and make these a little bigger. All right. Let's do some stuff then. All right, so let's go in and we can use the cascading order. So we were already set up, so we got a basic structure there. Now let's just start making this a little bigger. So we're going to just change up the navigation bar a little bit more, and we'll make these icons bigger, and we'll just improve a bit of typography and a bit of readability. So I'm going to go into my styles, so I can add my own. Styles. So how much space we got there? So there's a lot of space there. Let's get rid of that. So as you can see, there's a bit of space there being added in there if you want when you're starting out. Of course, you can always use something like this, inspect elements, and then you can start selecting things on the page. So div class container, div class Jumbotron, there's a space there, but where's the space? So I can see here that, because see that yellow line, when I'm hovering over my nav bar part here, I can see that there's a bit of padding beneath there. In fact, there's a padding of, how much padding is that? But there's a bit of margin there. Anyway, it doesn't actually matter how much margin there is there because I'm just going to remove it anyway. So .nav bar, targeting my nav bar up there, MARGIN, BOTTOM is 0. I have never actually designed my sites from a Photoshop development file. I've always done pen and paper. Pen and paper has always been my wireframe tool. All right. So let's see. What else can we add here? What else should we add? Let's change the whole document. Body. Target the whole body. Give it a different background. BACK GROUND. Background is going to be a nice. Let's see. How dark will we make this? Not too dark. Hex. There we go. Take you. No, take you. 40. Perfect. No, I certainly don't, because body is a tag. Yeah, so body is a tag. So remember, guys, we only have to put dots in front of classes. We only have to put hashes in front of IDs. But if we are targeting an element on the page, well, then there's nothing to go before it. An element just requires its tag name. If you put a dot before it, it's going to be looking for an element with a class of body, which doesn't exist in my document, which means that none of these styles will be applied. So color, I'll leave the color as it is, and that should be fine. 40, 40, 40, 40, perfect. What else can we do? We'll edit we'll edit our heading 1 and heading 2. We'll leave that there. We'll change its font weight, WEIH weight to bold. Yeah, because if you've noticed on my, you notice that that's not very bold at the moment. Yeah, so let's make that a little bit heavier to make the heading stand out a little bit more, and let's increase the font size of our paragraphs because it seems quite small at the moment. You are correct. I used a heading 3 in there as well, and thank you for that. Thank you for that, Helen. And then I'm going to target my paragraphs as well. My paragraphs are going to have a font size. How big are they? At the moment, they have a font size of 14 pixels. Let's change that up. So let's add so that's a font size of 14 pixels. Let's change that up to 1.1. 1.1. Yeah. See how that looks? Ooh, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Alright, so I'm going to have to change the color. Body, let's change our text color. See what OR. Color is going to be kind of a whitish color. Let's go with F6, F6, F6. Should be white enough. There we go. So that's shining out through there. I just need to also change my Jumbotron heading as well. So let's attack that Jumbotron. Jumbotron. I can see a few people have not taken my introduction to web design course. GROUND. Background is going to be, let's see, hash 278955. There we go, beautiful green. Let's see, what else can we do? Color is white, that's fine. Text align. It's got to be center. Ooh, guys, if you haven't taken the introduction to web design, you're going to have to send me an email. I'll add it to your dashboard, and you're going to have to catch up very, very quickly because some of you, I am skipping over some questions that are coming in simply because I haven't really got enough time to. To answer a lot of them, because they have been covered in detail on the introduction course. So please do. So please just send me an email to web.design. I'll add you into the previous lesson, and you can catch up on it. You'll be able to take the whole introduction course in 8 hours. But just skim through it just to get a bunch of this, because there's a lot of prerequisite knowledge required to really excel in this course. All right. So just send me an email to web.design@showacademy.com. Jumbotron, perfect. Jumbotron, paragraph. Let's make that text size a little bit better. Let's see, text font size, font, size is going to be 1.1 up there, so let's make this 1.3 em. Em anyway is relative size. It used to be the size of a 0. Sorry, em is relative size, so 1.3 em takes the original font size and multiplies by 1.3. So it's great for responsive design, because you can take no matter what device it is, it can be yeah, it just takes the normal font size and multiplies it. No, em as a tag is emphasis. Em as a tag is emphasis. Em as a value is the width of a capital M. Well, it used to be the width of a capital M. Now it is equal to well, it's just equal to the original font size. So 1 em font size doesn't change. 1.3 em, it multiplies the original font size by 1.3. Well, David, my paragraph, if that second one you type there, p.jumbotron, would mean that my paragraph has a class of Jumbotron attached to it. While I'm targeting here, the paragraph sits inside the parent element that has a class of Jumbotron, while your second option there would say that the other one. Yep, perfect. All right, so there's my Jumbotron pre. So sorry, I've been answering questions and talking while I'm typing here, but you see what's happening on my screen. Yes, you see what's happening when I'm refreshing. I'm sorry, I'm going into auto design mode. All right, so let's just add some other stuff here. Nav bar. Let's just add a bit more another class here to my nav bar. Nav bar. Let's see, what do I want? I want nav bar, but I want nav bar inverse. I'll grab that from my components. Where's my nav bars? Let's just find nav bar, the dark nav bar. Where are you? Find INVERSE. For folks using standard links, navbar link class add to the proper class of the navbar inverse, but that's not really what I wanted. I wanted the dark one, navbar inverse. There we go. Navbar inverse. Perfect. Versus navbar default. INVERSE. Let me just see how that's looking. There we go, black navbar. So we can type navbar inverse. We can just change that from navbar default to navbar inverse to give us a dark navbar. What you're seeing there with that padding to the left and right is because I'm using a fluid container. If I actually get rid of, it's because I'm using a container down here. You'll see here, div class container. If I was actually say container fluid, FLUID, full width. Yeah, so container fluid will mean that it will flow to the full width of the screen, just like so. But I wanted, but for this particular project, because I haven't got a big, beautiful, stunning images to add in, it can just look a bit bare. Yeah, it can just look a bit bare and a bit crushed. So what I'm going to do until I have images to add in, I'm just going to get rid of that. So perfect, save, refresh. There we go. Yep, so perfect. All right, so we've got that, and now one more thing I want to target is I also want to target my my glyph icons. So glyph icons. Let me see. There actually should be something else I can add to my glyph icons. So just very quickly back up to here, glyph icons, and if I was to just search at the very top of this page for large, I should be able to follow LARGE. Nope. I wonder, is there something I'm missing here? Let me just quickly check my glyph icons down here. Span, glyphons, glyph icon. No, I'll actually just target them in CSS. So I'm also going to target my glyph icons, which have a class of glyph icon. Boom. Dot glyph icon. And can anyone guess? Can anyone guess what I have to do to make this large? For the last bit of styling, what am I going to do to make this large? Exactly, guys. It's SVG. It's a font size, yeah. So we can use font size here. So font size, SIZE, and I'll actually dictate this in. I'll actually dictate this one in pixels. I'm going to say 100 pixels. That should do it. Let's take a look. My first Bootstrap, refresh, and there we have it. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is let's text align these center, text ALIGN center. Save. Oh, that's not going to target those, is it? Nope, it's not. I want to put that inside my Jumbotron. Inside my Jumbotron. Let me just see where I should put that to make sure that they're centered. I will have to add those. Where should I add those now? Actually, I can just center the whole thing. I can just center all of these here. I'm just going to center all of these. So div class row, div class Jumbotron, div class row. That's fine. Call span. So because it's one row, I will call these services. S-E-R-V-I. S-E-R-V-I. Service blurb. B-L-U-R-B. Yep. Save. So now I can target this whole row here of all these. And then I'll go back to my files. And I'll target those here. Dot S-E-R-V-I-C-E. B-L-U-R-B, and these will have a text ALIGN. I'll center. Save. Yep. There we go. Perfect. So something like that. So something like that is nice and quickly for us to start working with straight away. Yeah. So that's so there you go, guys. A simple page to start off with. Now you can keep adding to that, so you can see how quickly we can actually start marking up Bootstrap. So that's actually quite nice for less than an hour of work. For less than an hour of work, that's not a bad achievement, especially because we're now mobile ready. Everything flows and fits to the screen. It's going to work in Firefox, Internet Explorer. I don't even need to check at this stage because I haven't done anything special to it. I just know it's going to work in Internet Explorer. I know it's going to work in Firefox. I know it's going to work in Safari. I've got drop downs here, which I know will work on my mobile screen as well. And I can see it's even got a mobile menu up there. Yeah. So there we go. Something nice and quickly to start off with. So any questions so far? Any questions? To the left side of the header. I don't have a header in here. Do you mean my Navbar or my Jumbotron? Bootstrap has three types of button size. They got small, they got medium, they got large. You'll be able to find those in the components. You'll be able to see how to add all those. Your task actually is for next class to read through components of Bootstrap. To just take a look down through them, copy and paste them into your document, and just see what they do. The first time I learned Bootstrap, was just like this. I just built a simple page, and then without even being have to ask, I went straight back into Bootstrap and just started copying and pasting to my heart's content, because there's so much in there, you know, adding menu bars, seeing how much you could add in, testing their container fluids, testing their container, adding in loads of glyph icons and seeing how you can target them and style them. It's a glyph icon, it's a piece of text. What if I want to give those something else? Let me just quickly check here. Font size is that. Ooh, I haven't actually tried this before with glyph icons, but I wonder. Text. Shadow. S-H-A-D-O-W. This would be very interesting. 0, 5 pixels. And let's just go with blue just to see if it works. It works! We can add text shadow because they are fantastic. Save. Whoops. Alright, so glowing blue icons there. So you can do so much with this. Alright, 2 seconds there. So Jumbotron. So you want to add an image to your Jumbotron? You add an image to your Jumbotron, you add text, and you align the image to the left. That's all you'd have to do. Or else you add your image to your Jumbotron and you use your CSS to target the actual elements in your Jumbotron. So it would be just like normal HTML. It would be just like normal HTML. If you need a touch-up, check out Phoenix Photography from lesson 2 of the introduction course. How do you decide whether to use col extra small, col medium, or column large? Well, extra small is like a mobile screen, and small is kind of like a modern mobile, you know, because mobiles are quite big now. So mobile is a tablet. A medium screen is like a tablet to laptop, and then a large screen is like a laptop to a desktop, and then an extra large screen is one of my screens here to a projector, pretty much. So it's kind of it's kind of up to you on how you want to display it. So it's how would you like your designs to look on a medium screen? Remember, that's what we're talking about. We're talking mid generals here because we can't be nitpicky anymore as web designers. So we have to leave that out. Because believe me, because you're building this on your laptops here. Does that look like that on your laptops? It shouldn't really. You should have much less space on, depending on what kind of laptops you're working with. Because I'm working at pretty much a very, very large screen here. So you're probably seeing a design more in this case of, let's see, where would you be? You could even be down to 900 pixels. I'm not sure, but you certainly shouldn't have as big a screen as I do. Let's see. Adding a model as the contact us button. What do you mean adding a model as the contact us button there, Mark? Your text shadow is on your paragraphs. Did you add your text shadow to your sorry, let me just get back into my Atom there. Atom. I added my text shadow to my actual glyph icon, not to the service blurb, but to the glyph icon. .glyph icon and no other styles except for the font size and the text shadow. How do you integrate Bootstrap with a CMS? You don't integrate it. You just, if you're building a theme for a CMS, theme is just like this. So this would be a theme, guys. Like that could be a theme. Yeah, that's a theme. Except it wouldn't have any content. Instead of having content up there, I'd have a PHP. I'd have a PHP tag. Yeah, so I'd have a PHP tag, which I would then use PHP to inject my content in there. So that's quite advanced. So unless you're quite advanced at JavaScript and PHP and HTML and CSS, creating themes for CMSs is quite difficult. You do need quite a bit of experience. It's certainly not for the beginner. Okay, let me just take a quick look. Oh, yes. I would recommend that only if you have a contact form. Yeah, so you can use the models are perfect for a contact form. Yeah, so that's what these little kind of these models are absolutely perfect for contact forms. They're perfect for promotional videos. In fact, on Show Academy, because Show Academy is built using Bootstrap. Yeah, our website is built using Bootstrap. You can actually see it. Let's take a look. SHAW showacademy.com. Oh, wrong site. SHAWACADEMY.com. There we go. Inspect. So there you can see. Let's take a look. Where are we? Ooh, a lot of code in here. Let me just see if I can find it. So here you go, div class row. Yeah, so div class row, call medium 2, call medium small 4, call medium x small 6. Now this is an older version of Bootstrap, but it's still you can see very clearly that it is Bootstrap with our own CSS in there, so we can target that by ourselves. In fact, if I was to log in, well, actually I can't log in and show you because I'm a member here, but if you weren't a member, you'd log in and you'd see your offer, pop up in one of their models. In fact, I wonder if this one is still live for me. formecon.com. This is actually the first website I built kind of semi-professionally using Bootstrap. This is about a month out of my first Bootstrap course. Let's see if it's all still working. Yeah, so there's my model to play a video. Yeah, so that's how I use the model to play a video, just from YouTube inside the model. It's nice and simple. Yeah, close. Perfect. Model can be used to display images. I wouldn't recommend it though. Model is really for model really wouldn't be for images. Model is for like contact form. If you have images display like an image gallery, well, you're probably going to want to load that up straight away. Yeah, you're probably going to want to show that to the user. If the user is looking for your image gallery, they're going to want to see the images straight away. They're not going to want to have another pop-up. But something intrusive, like a video is intrusive, yeah? A video is intrusive because it's loud, it's noisy. So you want to give the user the option before they have to play it. And it can take up a lot of space, especially if they don't want to watch the video. You know, a lot of us aren't into watching the full 5-minute promotional video. And a video takes up a lot of space on your page. If the user is not going to watch it, you're probably better off putting into a little button that can open up a model so they don't have to leave the page just to watch the video. It saves you space. So it's all just thinking about the design process and thinking about the user experience versus the user interface. Yeah. In fact, before and actually just before we finish up, I'll explain that to you very quickly in simplest terms. How can we explain that? Paint online. So the user interface, guys. The user interface is basically how you get around the page. Yes, the user interface is how we actually navigate through the site. All right. The user experience is how it's all presented to us. So one of my friends gave me an excellent example. I proceeded with, and I don't have a clue what this example means, but he thought it was good, even though he didn't understand it. So let me just quickly see if I can find here. Drawing. No, I want a painter. Start now. All right, sketchy. I'll take the trail. Thank you. All right, so here's our page. Yeah, here's our page. And here's what happens. So as designers, we start adding all this great stuff. So imagine if this is a garden path. Yeah, so imagine, if you want to imagine UX and UI as if you're a gardenscape. Yeah, as if you're one of those people who design beautiful gardens. And what you do is that you've got point A over here. Yeah, you got point A over here, and you got point B over here. So you, as that beautiful landscape artist, you're going, oh yeah, so I'm going to put beautiful hedges around here. Whoops. Trail. Let's just grab some beautiful leaves. Put that up there. So what you're doing is you're saying, oh, I'm going to add some beautiful leaves around here, yeah, and then I'm going to add a nice little fountain over here that's going to really knock their socks off, and then I'm going to take them on a little detour down here for a bunch of image galleries like that. But what UI does is it does this. Alright, so that's the difference, yeah? So the UI means that you can click on one button and it gets you to the end. So there's the constant struggle between UX and UI. And some of you might have seen it's kind of like a marketing flow or a marketing channel. You can almost think about the UI, where you try to guide the users in the nicest possible way. So they have the option of taking the long route around, so they're constantly entertained. So if they come to your site and they're looking for contact details, yeah, normally when someone comes to your site with the goal of finding a contact detail or finding your phone number, if you try to lead them by your images, like, there's no point. You don't need to. They're trying to get in contact with you. They're already sold. There's nothing you don't need to sell them anymore. You want to give them the contact number. So it can be quite frustrating. I'm sure you've experienced it yourself, trying to get a phone number off a site, and you're constantly getting pop-ups like, oh, do you want to hear about this service? And then you're scrolling down, waiting for images to load, and then you're getting down to a contact form. Then the contact form's got a little thing, and all you want is the phone number. Whereas that should be provided to you straight away. Yeah, so if they want to be sold, well then they can take the nice long path around. You can sell them all you want, but also giving people the quick access to get where they need to go straight away. Rule is generally 2 clicks. Yep, so 2 clicks, 3 max from where you want to be. We can really get it down to 2 clicks in today's standard of web design. Right. So, do we have any more questions? Any more questions, guys? Or are we all good? Bootstrap customization. We'll go into that next class. So on next Tuesday, what I'm going to do. So what I want you to do for this class, what I want you to do between now and Monday, is I want you to start building stuff with Bootstrap. So what I would love you to do, what I would really love you to do, is to turn one of these bootstraps into kind of like a small portfolio. If you just write a small write-up about yourself. Yeah, so it's the easiest thing to write about. Well, sorry, it's actually one of the hardest thing to write about is yourself. But if you can just write a small portfolio just about yourself, yeah? Just small, like my name is blah, I live here. You know, stuff that you do in primary school, you know, and on show and tell day. My name is X. I live here. I like these, I like that. I don't like this, and I don't like that. Here is a picture of my cat. Something like that. And yes, you can use it on CodePen. In fact, it's very easy to use it on CodePen. CodePen.io. New pen. Change view. Oh, sorry, settings. CSS, quick add, Bootstrap. That's all you have to do. It's going to add it in straight for you. Yep. So nice and simple. But for your own one, I would rather you be doing it in Atom. All right, guys. So for this one, I would rather you do it in Atom. Get used to writing this amount of code. Well, look at that. In less than an hour, we got almost to 100 lines of code. If not, well, in fact, we got over 100 lines of code because look at all the CSS as well. So do get used to writing stuff like this as well. You add photos just as you normally would. Just as you normally would. If you need to check, go back to the photo gallery or any of the projects that we did in the introduction, and you'll be able to see how to. It's just image tags. Yeah, img, and then add your source. Web.design at showacademy.com, because I am the educator for both the introduction and the advanced and everything else. I get one email address. Yep, there's only one of me. What about that jumbo thingy? That's just part of the components, guys. So what you should do is you go in, because the components is really the fun stuff, yeah? The components has got all the glyph icons. It's got the how you can add buttons so they can all be linked together like this, and you can add, you know, like a button toolbar. What else have they got in here? They've got breadcrumbs like this, yeah? So links that look like breadcrumbs. What else have they got? They got badges, yeah? So badges, so you can have these little 42, so you can have the little extra bits. What else? Jumbotron is just this. It's a lightweight, flexible component that can be optionally extended to the, well, so it's just a Jumbotron. You know, do you know what a Jumbotron is? Sorry, I should have actually, sorry, I'm probably assuming knowledge here. Jumbotron. Here in Ireland, we get all the American, you know, heavily influenced by all the American stuff. So, you know, like Jumbotron. Yeah, yeah? So Jumbotron. That's what a Jumbotron is. That's where Bootstrap is getting it from. It's kind of just like the Jumbotron for your website. So you don't have to, yeah, that's what it is. No, you can perfectly use images from your own computer. What means is that if you're trying to use your images on CodePen haven't got access to images on their computer, because that would mean that if I wanted to steal all your files, all I'd have to do is something like img. I'd just use a bit of PHP, and I'd just click the, what I'd just do is I'd just go equals C. In fact, I wouldn't even do C. What would I do? What do I do to get back to the root folder, guys? If I wanted full access to your computer, so imagine how insecure the web would be if you were able to directly link your images from your home directory onto CodePen. That would mean just with a few lines of PHP, I'd be able to just type / get back to your root directory and upload that to my database. Yeah, so we can't do stuff like that. So your images have to be hosted and publicly viewable on the web for us to work with them. So what you can do is either, if you have a hosting package, that's perfect, or else just find a place where you can upload them. Can someone give me can someone out there who's been active on CodePen, what's the best place to upload images that allow hot linking? What is the best resource for us as from a student point of view? Google, but does that allow you to upload your own images? Like a place where we can, is it like Flickr? Is Flickr good? Not Facebook, no. TinyPic? Actually, guys, no. 000 web host. This is where you go. Set yourself up an account with 000 web host. Then you can upload your own photos there. Then you can upload your own photos onto the web, and then you can link them just like you would any other image on the internet. Yes, you can sign up here for free until you're ready to get your own proper hosting account. Can't use Dropbox. It has to be publicly faceable on the web. So like Dropbox, anything that requires kind of a like Dropbox is meant to keep your files secure. Facebook is meant to keep your files hidden from the general public as well. So is Google, and these are all services that don't want you to do it. So ignore, sir. If it's a file storing site, stay away from it. Yeah, if it's a file storing site, you don't want to host your images up there because they don't want you using their service for that. They'll have. If I was to build my own Dropbox, I would certainly put in a lot of things to stop people from hot linking. Because what that would mean is that if Dropbox fully allowed that, Because Dropbox, Google Drive, they're all just servers. Yeah, they're all just servers. There's nothing stopping you from sticking HTML stuff up there, giving someone a direct link, and then allowing them to use that as your web server. So they of course have little security features in there to stop you from doing stuff like that. That is my own CSS. The Chrome add-on to change my visited was actually my own CSS up here. It's what is it called? OpenStyle. It's called Stylebot. STYLEBOT. Right. So I'd say set yourself up some 000 web host would probably be your best option. All right, guys. All right. Well, we're at 25 past. We're at 25 past. I better run. I do better run. Let me just quickly just send that out. Actually, very quickly. Let me just let me just send that out to you. So post that. And right now, I will also give you the file that we just made here. So 2 seconds. What message are you getting to say web host is not safe? What kind of message are you getting there, Mariska? Is it a warning? Like what is it saying that there's a virus there, or is it just saying that it's a? All right, no worries, no worries. All right, sorry, 2 seconds. Let's just get in here. Let me zip up my first Bootstrap file. Compress, send to a compressed zip folder. Build with technology profiler. All right. Well, 000 web host is actually, it is safe. It could be just that your browser might be ignoring the HTTPS. So if you have if your browser is trying to ignore HTTPS, just refresh the page a few times. But 000 web host is a reputable company. Right. Well, if not, you can always use something like Flickr. Flickr is a photo sharing site. Flickr, or let's see, what else? Or PhotoBucket. PhotoBucket is their one. Yeah, PhotoBucket is the one that's being posted much. So Flickr or PhotoBucket. Okay? So I'll just type those in there. Discussion. FLICK here. Flickr und Photo Bucket. There is no toolkit for this advanced class. No, there is not. You all get access to anything that we do here in class. You all get access to it. Flickr and Photo Bucket. There you go. There you have it. All right, guys. Well, I better run. I'll be seeing you next Tuesday. In the meantime, do go through the components of Bootstrap. Take a look at the CSS. Copy and paste stuff in. Have fun with it. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to show you how really quickly we can supercharge design with another great feature of Bootstrap. All right. So we're going to have a full website. Now that we understand the difference between content and code, you're ready to start. And this is pretty much getting you ready for the professional environment next class. You'll be able to see what's about to happen. All right, guys. So enjoy the weekend. And until then, have a very good morning, a very good afternoon, a very good evening, and a very good night, everybody.